You are in a magical realm created by Tolkien, where everyone chases after a ring, trees talk, and eagles never provide taxi service. If you've watched the movies, you might think events simply pass between the good and the bad. But the situation is much more complicated than that. Some races were born from divine music, some were made with mud and torture, and some just appeared and no one asked where they came from. I'm talking about you, Tom Bombadil. Who are you, son? Today, we are ranking all the races of Middle-earth from the bottom to the top, from the most unfortunate to the mightiest. Get ready to learn who is immortal, who turns to stone in sunlight, and who is genius enough to invent a meal called second breakfast. Of course, if anyone passes by without subscribing and liking, I will complain to the dragon smog. You think about the consequences. Now we start. At the bottom of the list, there are some races that do not exist by their own, will usually appearing so Melkor could say, look, I can create too, and are cosmically knock-offs. Source: they are Middle-earth's easily disposable pawns. Although even Tolkien was undecided about their origins, the most accepted theory is that they are elves kidnapped by Melkor and corrupt, ruined through torture and dark magic. There is nothing in the name of joy within them. They only laugh at the sound of clashing metal. They hate even themselves, which is why they eat each other when their masters, Melkor or Sauron, are not around. They have sub-species divided among themselves as Snagar, the lowest tier, slave orcs, Uruk-hai, premium elite Pro Max version developed by Sauron and Saruman in the Third Age. They are both larger and stronger, but most importantly, the feature that makes them elite Pro Max orcs is that they do not burn in the sun like vampires, so they can fight in sunlight too. Half-orcs are hybrids created by Saruman by breeding orcs with Dunlending humans. Yes, do not imagine this disgusting detail. Orcs are biologically mortal, their souls do not go to the halls of Mandos, and their lives consist of filth, grime, and bad food. The trolls. Melkor saw the Ents and said, I want some of those too, but make them stupider and more violent. In the end, he created the trolls. Since they were originally created from stone, when exposed to sunlight, they revert to factory settings meaning stone. Remember those 3 trolls Bilbo encountered? They are the pro version of trolls. Olog-hai. At the end of the Third Age, Sauron updated the trolls. This species called Olog-hai is unaffected by the sun, intelligent, and can speak the black speech. They were used as tanks on the battlefield with today's technology. You remember them from the Return of the King movie. Hobbits. This category contains those who take up as much space as a margin of error in the power balances of Middle-earth but somehow save the world. Hobbits count as a sub-branch or distant relatives of the race of men, but let's be honest, they are much more durable and much more fond of their comfort. It is not exactly known where they came from. They appeared one day in the Anduin Valley. I also suddenly appeared before you. Subscribe immediately so I always appear. They have no real superpowers, they cannot do magic, but they possess magic like walking silently and hiding ordinary. Their greatest talent is marksmanship. If a hobbit picks up a stone from the ground, run, because they don't miss. Also, they have an incredible resistance to will, bending objects like the ring. Khazad, the most populous group, they love living in caves. Sasfalahidus, more adventurous, leader, spirited. The Took and Brandybuck families come from here. Storse, they love water. Gollum, that is Smeagol, came from this lineage. The most important historical event for hobbits is the arrival of Miltime according to the Shire calendar. The dwarves, the Khazad, they are not Eru Ilúvatar's official children. They are considered sort of adopted. Dwarves were created secretly by one of the Valar, Aulë, the smith god, without Eru's permission. Aulë wanted a tough, stubborn, and strong race that could withstand Melkor's evils. When Eru noticed the situation, just as Aulë was about to destroy the dwarves, he granted them souls and accepted them as adopted. But he had one condition. They would not awaken before the elves awakened. They are short in stature, but toppling a dwarf is harder than toppling a boulder. They are resistant to diseases and live for about 250 years. Their women are also bearded and look so much like men that other races think dwarves are born from stone. The most famous are Durin's folk, the Longbeards. Moria Khazad Dwam was their greatest kingdom until they dug too deep and woke up a Balrog. We also see this topic in the Rings of Power series. Dwarves and elves do not like each other. Why? Because in the First Age, they slaughtered each other over a necklace, the Noglamir. Dwarves find elves arrogant, and elves find dwarves greedy. Both are right. The mortals Atani, men. Because they awoke after the elves, they are known as the second-born, or Atani. The greatest gifts or curse Eru gave them is death. While elves are bound to the world, men leave the world when they die, and even the Valar do not know where they go. They are the most populous, most variable, and most easily deceived race of Middle-earth. Look, I'm not deceiving you. If you subscribe and like the video, I get motivated and continue such great videos non-stop. I need your support. Men took 9 of the Rings of Power, and they all became Nazgul. Are we surprised? Idan Dita Nadain, these are VIP humans. Because they fought against Morgoth alongside the elves in the First Age, the Valar gifted them the island of Númenor. They live 3 times longer than normal humans. That's why Aragorn looks young at 87 years old. However, when they got arrogant and tried to invade Valinor, their island was sunk. Rohirrim's masters of horse riding, blonde, honorable northerners. They received the lands of Rohan as a reward for helping Gondor. Haradrim and Easterlings, warrior peoples usually coming from the south, deceived or frightened by Sauron, who use massive Mumakil elephants. Farfi forces of nature, these are neither men nor elves. These emerged when Yavanna, the nature goddess, said, "Dwarves will cut my trees, someone is needed to protect them." Onodrim, shepherds of the trees. They are very old, very strong, and very slow. Even saying hello to an Ent can take hours. Trolls were made as a bad imitation of them. The greatest tragedy of the Ents is losing the Entwives. They went to make gardens and no one saw them ever again. The Eagleas, these aren't the birds you know. They are the messengers of Manav, the Lord of the Skies. In the First Age, there were legendary eagles like Thorondor with a wingspan reaching 55 meters. They are on good terms with Gandalf, but they are not Middle-earth's taxi service. They only come to help in very urgent situations. The firstborn elves, Eru's first children. They are immortal, meaning unless they die in battle, they do not get sick, they do not age. But this doesn't mean their lives are wonderful. But if you subscribe, my world will be wonderful. On the contrary, they carry all the sorrow of the world in their memories for thousands of years. Hazi elves or Quendi, they awoke under the stars at the lake of Cuvi-Nen. Then the Valar called them, saying, "It's dangerous here, come to Valinor." This is where the whole elf division started. Venya, the most well-behaved, blonde, and holy elves who said, "Okay, we're coming," went to Valinor and never left. Anoldo, or deep elves, these are elves who excelled in science, art, and smithing. We can count some like Efti-Anor, Galadriel, Gil, Galad. They love making jewelry and forging rings. Who came up with such a stupid thing and why? Just leave people alone. Everywhere in Middle-earth is exhausted by war. They are also the ones who went back to Middle-earth after Melkor, who stole the Silmarils and started wars lasting thousands of years. Or Teleri, or sea elves, they love music and the sea. They are masters of shipbuilding. When the Noldor slaughtered them to take their ships, the history of elves was stained forever. Was Cinder or Grey Elves those who set out to go to Valinor but remained in Middle-earth on the way, usually because they fell in love with a girl? Legolas and Thranduil belong to this group. Thranduil is originally Sindar nobility. His people are Sylvan. Elves are melancholic beings living in a mode of, we are here until the end of the world, we don't know what happens after either. If I lived that long, my psychology would break down too. I would get into an air of indifference. If you subscribe, I will test whether my psychology breaks down after living 1,000 years as the only elf on Earth. Faith if Melkor's bioweapons, if Eru and the Valar create beauty and art, Melkor produces industrial waste and hatred. Those in this category are not born. They are usually manufactured or corrupted. Are the Wargsi? These are not just big wolves, they are demonic beings harboring evil spirits inside. They can speak their own language and cooperate with goblins. Sometimes goblins ride them as mounts. Sometimes if they can't find food, wargs eat the goblins. They have such a healthy relationship like that. The great spiders, these are not Melkor's production, but cosmic horrors coming from darkness itself. Ingoliant, the mother of all spiders. She was so hungry that she sucked and dried the 2 trees of Valinor. That wasn't enough, she attacked Melkor. Even Melkor had to scream, help, and call his Balrogs out of fear. Shelob, Ungoliant's last daughter. Sauron used to call her my cat, but Shelob cares for no one, she just wants food. A world-famous spider known for packaging Frodo. The dragons, Melkor's masterpieces. With the magic and fire he put inside them, they are Middle-earth's nuclear weapons. Var Glorung, a father of dragons. He was wingless but had hypnotic gazes. He would freeze people with his eyes and turn them against each other with his lies. He was a complete psychological warfare expert. Ancalagon, he was so huge that when he died, he fell upon the towers of Thangorodrim and destroyed the mountains. He had wings that even blocked out the sunlight. Orc Smog, the last great fire dragon. Gold-sick, arrogant, and a narcissist who loves compliments. Because of a single missing scale on his armor, he was shot by Bard thanks to a thrush snitching on him. Tom Bombadil. This is a bonus because no one knows what he is. He is outside the categories. He was there before the Valar came. The ring does not affect him. He does not care about the ring. He is the memory of the world or nature itself. He sings and dances, and no one knows exactly what he is. Even Tolkien doesn't know. He imagines something, but even he doesn't remember what he imagined. Could Tom Bombadil actually be Tolkien himself? He wanted to put himself in the story, and the person who was always there is this author. I think Tom Bombadil is Tolkien himself. I'm waiting for those who reject this thought in the comments. Look, I just came up with this thought now. If my thought makes sense, I think I'll think more things like this, subscribe, and like so we can blow my mind together. What do you say? Spiritual beings that existed before the world was created, who shaped the universe with music. They are divided into 2, Valar and Maiar. These are the helpers of the Valar. Their powers are less than them. But by Middle-earth standards, they still count as demigods. They can change shape of the good Istari or Wizard Sea. The Valar sent 5 Maiar in the guise of old men to fight Sauron. These are Gandalf's Olórin, Saruman, Kurumo, Radagast, and the Blue Wizards. Gandalf remained loyal to his mission. Saruman changed sides, saying, "Why shouldn't I rule?" Orhal the Bard, Balrogs, and Sauron. Melkor pulled many Maiar to his side. Sauron was actually a talented assistant of all the Valar who created the dwarves I just mentioned, then he became Melkor's right hand. Balrogs are Maiar corrupted by fire and shadow. Yes, the Balrog Gandalf fought is technically the same species as Gandalf, only their career choices are different. Now, it's debatable where to put these, but Melkor corrupted them so much with fire and shadow that they turned into demons. In Moria, dwarves dug too deep and woke him up. Remember the famous bridge battle with Gandalf. You cannot pass. Fly, you fools, there is a shadow spread like wings, but whether they have physical wings or not is a cause for a fight that has lasted 50 years among Tolkien fans. Let's say fire demons that cannot fly but have wings of shadow and stay safe. Valar, the powers of Arda, the rulers of the world, there are 14 of them. They rarely intervene physically in Middle-earth because their powers are so great that they could accidentally sink continents. They showed us this in the War of Wrath. Monwë, their head, Lord of the Winds. Melkor's brother, but too pure to understand evil, Hoarle, the smith, father of dwarves. Sauron and Saruman were also his students. It seems his students are prone to falling into bad ways. Raised naughty children couldn't educate them. Lord Ulnor, Lord of the Waters. The Valar who loves elves and men the most and constantly helps them. Or Melkor or Morgoth, he was the most powerful Valar, but rebelled saying, "Why shouldn't I rule?" He is the source of all evil, orcs, dragons, and chaos. This is the biological and theological mess of Middle-earth. Next time you see an orc, remember that he is actually a tortured former elf. Then hit him on the head with a pan, stone, kick, slap, whatever you can find anyway, because he wants to eat you. Don't let him grab your hand. They are like zombies. Don't forget to subscribe to Espanora and discuss the question, which race do you think is the strongest, in the comments. In the next video, we will examine why Sauron didn't go to an eye doctor. Goodbye!